I'm Tom, and I've been testing out some of Nassim Taleb's recent writing about masks and masks to prevent COVID-19. So one of the things he's been saying, I think is probably true, is that masks may actually be not only a necessary but also a sufficient way to control COVID-19 spread when they're used properly and consistently by everybody who's interacting in person. So one thing I showed was a fit test where I used stannic chloride smoke from this emitter to test out the idea of wearing two surgical masks simultaneously as a way to protect yourself. And I found that while it's not as good as an N95 mask, subjectively I'd say it was maybe about 70% as effective for protecting you, at least from my experience using the stannic chloride and spraying this on myself. Stannic chloride is an irritant smoke. It's actually a former chemical warfare agent. This is a very dilute version of it, but still don't do this at home. One thing I wanted to demonstrate, though, is that I think, there's the principle of wearing masks to protect yourself. You really need a pretty good filtration for that. So if there's viral particles out in the environment, whether they're airborne or it's in a sneeze or something like that, to protect yourself from it, you really need very good filtration. And again, that's probably either an N95, which I found with stannic chloride almost completely eliminated the effects of this irritant smoke, or something like Taleb proposed of using two surgical masks stacked on top of each other but ensuring a really good fit. But one thing I want to show is I think the biggest thing with mask wearing is actually the fact that the mask protects other people from you much more so than it protects you from other people. You really need good filtration to protect yourself from airborne particles, but you don't really need that great filtration to protect others from the sneezes or other kinds of coughs or other ways you might be emitting virus if you are yourself infectious. So I'm going to show, this is a surgical mask. This is my stannic chloride smoke emitter. Now, in addition to being a really good irritant smoke for doing fit tests, this is also a really good way to visualize airflows using stannic chloride. So I got my emitter here, got the mask, and I want to spray a little bit of this in here. And you can see the smoke start to come out on this side of the mask. And what you can see is it's billowing up over the sides of the mask here, but not really coming much through. And this is filtering reasonably well, I think, this stannic chloride smoke. Now, in this case, this is standing in for the breath of an infected user. So if you've got a mask in front of your own face, even though, again, this didn't do as good a job as an N95 at protecting me from the smoke that was out in the environment when I sprayed it on my own face, you can see it's doing an excellent job of keeping the smoke that this fake person, infected person is breathing on here in their own kind of bubble here. And if this was against their face, it would probably contain it against their face entirely, so it wouldn't be spreading out into the environment and creating infectious kind of aerosols that could then contact other people. So I think even though masks are probably not as effective at protecting you, just from looking at the airflow characteristics here and visualizing that with some of this kind of stannic chloride smoke, I think the airflow characteristics of preventing infectious particles from your own breath of entering the environment and potentially infecting others is pretty significant. And that's probably one of the main benefits of masks. So if you have an N95 mask, great. It probably will protect you to a large extent if you wear it properly. Same deal for something like Taleb has been using with two stacked masks. But as he's pointed out in his recent articles, I think masks, mask wearing are probably primarily an altruistic move to help protect others. And again, if this was universal, then everyone would be protected from everybody else. So it's probably not something you're doing for yourself, but it's something you're doing for others in the environment, because as you saw, even this fairly basic surgical mask did an excellent job of preventing the smoke emitted on this side from making it through the filter and out into the environment when it's worn closely against, in this case, the tube, and in the real world, the face of an infectious user. If you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps.